Thank you, and thank you, Cathaoirleach, for your kind words this morning and for attending the coffee morning in aid of UNICEF. And I want to thank my colleagues as well, and indeed all the team that helped out this morning to raise much needed funds for UNICEF. Ambassador Gergana, I want to welcome you here this morning. It's lovely to have you here as part of the diplomatic corps to support UNICEF this morning. But it's lovely to have you here celebrating your day for the people of Bulgaria. I visited your country for the very first time about 33 years ago, around this time. I was pregnant with my son, but nobody told me I couldn't ski. So I was actually skiing when I was about 2 or 3 months pregnant with my son, and it was my very first visit to, one of my very first and many visits to Bulgaria, and your country has certainly progressed enormously during that time. And Ambassador Johnston, you're very welcome here today, and your team. So, Cathaoirleach and Leader, I'd like to call for a debate in this chamber with the Minister for Health and the World Health Organization, CA Plus Convention, the so-called pandemic treaty, which is currently being constructed by the WHO intergovernmental negotiating body, whose 4th meeting is taking place this week in Geneva. The stated goal of the WHO CA Plus is to achieve greater equity and effectiveness for pandemic prevention, preparedness and response to the fullness national and international cooperation, and to this end it will contain both legally and non-legally binding provisions dictating the behaviour of governments party to that treaty. Provisions mooted in the zero draft of the Convention include a commitment to ring-fence a percentage of total health care expenditure for exclusively pandemic-related matters, as well as the allocation of an as yet unset percentage of gross domestic product to be gifted to the WHO for use in foreign countries. I'm not sure whether or not Minister Donnelly would say that the instant disappearance of 5% of the healthcare budget would have no impact on services, or whether Minister McGrath feels as though the exchequer coffers are bursting at the seams and we simply must offload some of this money or we'll have nowhere to put it. But whatever the final provisions, the treaty is a document that will have significant impact on future governments' approach to health emergencies. Perhaps that's one reason we've heard so little about it. It will only affect future governments, and we're not the best country at looking past the current election cycle. I raised this matter in the Chamber last year on the 26th of April and voiced my concern that the Minister of Health had taken it upon himself to voice Ireland's support for this convention when the provisions of it were entirely unknown, and critically, no protection of the sovereignty of parties to the agreement had been detailed. To my dismay, the raising of this matter was met with allegations of my having given false information and that I was perpetuating untruths. Now, Cathaoirleach, you appreciate that in this chamber no member may impute deliberate falsehoods to another member, and that enforcement of this rule is essential if orderliness is to be maintained and dignity of the House preserved, as per section 421 of the salient rulings of the Chair, 4th section. So I hope that this will certainly be the case and we move forward in the Shannon this year. And I do think that the Minister should attend the Chamber for a debate on what Ireland would like to see included in the CA Plus, and equally as important, what we wouldn't like to see in it. So thank you, Leader. And
thank you, Senator.